Roger, Roger. Good morning, Jack. Just was copying the mail on your exploits on DXing, and just wondered. I have a Qso-Vlog page on YouTube where we discuss various aspects of amateur radio, and I haven't really approached the subject of DX, and I was wondering if you might be able to explain some of your situations as far as DX is concerned, and what countries you've worked. Roger?
Okay, Jim. KC9VKV W9GT. Well, I'm hardly a model DXer as such. I've been a ham for a lot of years, since 1959, and I've been diversified in many different aspects of the hobby. I enjoy it all, really. But DXing, of course, is the working of other countries other than the U.S. And there's a total of 339 possible entities. Some of them are not really countries; they're islands or other possessions or territories owned or administered by other countries. Anyway, there's a total of 339 that are current, and over the years, over the time of the existence of the DXCC, which is of course working 100 countries, the Century Club. There's been close to 400 entities total. Of course, it's somewhat of a lifetime effort in working as many of those countries as you can and chasing them when they're on. A lot of them are activated by what they call DXpeditions, where a number of hams will go out to a remote island or some rare place that has never been on the air or very seldom on the air, and activated, and of course work people all over the world, and they're of course sought after very much. Everybody's trying to call them at once. It's pretty exciting. But anyway, over my years of being licensed, I've had times when I was really into it and really tried to work a lot of DX, and other times when I was pursuing other interests. But over those years, I managed to work 344 of those entities, which is a lot. And 330 is the mark, dividing line, or whatever you want to call it, the plateau for what's called the honor roll, which to make the honor roll, as far as the ARL is concerned, you have to be within 9 of the maximum number currently workable. Even though I have a lot more than that, they're not, they were countries that were deleted and so forth. So anyway, that's where I'm at, 329. So I need one more to achieve that honor roll status. And it is an honor to achieve that. It takes a lot of effort over many years. I'm sure some younger people have really went after it and been lucky to be active when a lot of DXpeditions were being conducted and a lot of activity going on. They were able to work a lot of those rare countries in a short period of time, and that's great. You can get up to those high totals in a short time. So anyway, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I wouldn't consider myself to be a prominent DXer by any means, so like I said, it's been over a long period of time. But quite an honor to achieve that, and like I said, it took quite a bit of effort. So back to you, Jim. KC9VKV W9GT.
Roger, Jack. And you're one short. And do you know what the name of that entity is that you're short of?
Well, there's 10 more that I can work, and I've got a list.
Oh, Roger, Roger. I'm just curious. Which one do you think it's going to be, or do you have any idea?
Well, it really depends on what becomes active. Some of the ones that I need have been on fairly recently, but they're difficult to work from this location, like in Southeast Asia and so forth. Bhutan is one of them, and of course North Korea is an impossibility at the present time with the political situation as it exists. But there's a couple of islands out in the Pacific that I need, and Republic of South Sudan, which is one that's escaped me so far, but that has been activated, and Spratly Islands are out in the South China Sea, and there's a political situation there, which of course the Chinese have been building islands out in that region. So it's kind of exciting, really. A lot of these countries kind of go with the political climate, their existence, they go in and out of existence as changes in politics and in those countries that own them or administer them as they go through changes.
Roger, Roger. I wonder if you might be able to go through your operating conditions there, starting with the microphone?
Oh, right now I'm running a pretty modest setup. I have several rigs, but right now I'm using an IC756 Pro 2 and an AL80A amplifier, and the antenna is a G5 RV up about 45 feet or so.
Roger that. And I think I heard you referring to SDR. Have you used SDR for contacts very much?
Oh, yeah. I have an ST2000, and I have the SDR-IQ receiver that went along with that, and of course gives you the visual display on the computer, and found that quite handy. And SDR is the wave of the future. I'm excited about the 7610 coming out from ICOM. I think it's supposed to officially be out the 15th of this month. But I see that as probably my next radio. And the SDR technology is really fantastic because you can set up the capabilities of the receiver just by changing the software. It's pretty interesting technology. I hope to get one of those new ICOMs and really give it a workout.
Roger, Roger. And Jack, I wonder if you might be able to give me your call sign slowly, phonetically.
What, are you recording me?
Why, of course, sir.
JACK-W9GT, Whiskey 9 Golf Tango.
And that's Fort Wayne.
That's correct.
Roger. And I was really wondering about the use of, say, remote SDRs. Can you use those in your contacts?
Well, not for awards. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are running remote stations and accessing, of course, the SDRs that are available on the internet, and in fact, complete stations that are accessible. Where they can work contests, but they have to give the location of the station equipment of the transmitter, not of their location. So, anyway, there's a lot of that going on. Of course, in these times of restrictions on antennas and all that sort of thing, that's becoming popular.
Roger. Now, I'm not unaware of restrictions on antennas. There is a joke about running an illegal antenna, but that was only a joke, I thought. Is there a cap on the antennas?
Oh, my goodness, all over. Many cities and especially subdivisions have adopted restrictions for putting up antennas, and it's become a real challenge, especially in newer areas. Homeowners associations, of course, are quite sick of that. And, a lot of limitations, which really makes it tough on ham radio. But like I say, the remote operation is one way around it. Of course, stealth antennas, but stealth antennas aren't nearly as efficient as big towers and big beams.
Roger that. I was thinking about, had the wrong concept of restrictions. I was thinking there might be restrictions from the contest folks about what kind of antenna you could use.
No, not at all. In fact, the bigger the better.
Roger, do you, what other, let me put it this way, what radio have you used mostly for your contacts?
Well, I've alternated between this rig and the SC2000, which I like very much. It's in the repair shop right now. It's got a couple of problems, but planning on probably getting rid of those two rigs in favor of the 7610 when it becomes available.
Roger that. Well, I wish you luck on being able to capture that next lone station, DX station, and get your signal or your award. Do you get an award?
Yeah, and you can, you know, if you elect to do so, you can get a plaque commemorating that achievement. I enjoy contesting. I enjoy competing. I'm very competitive natured. Maybe not in actual, you know, rewards, but I enjoy that aspect of ham radio as well as a lot of other things. But I've managed to win a few contests, and it's fun to collect the certificates, and I just enjoy it. But yeah, if you choose to do so, you can get you know, a plaque for the honor roll and all that stuff. Like I say, I'm hardly an icon in the DX world. I'm just picking away at it. There's several folks that are, you know, very, very active and have very impressive totals and are very you know, big in the contests and everything. But it's a fun activity, along with so many other things in ham radio. I've been involved in a lot of different aspects of it, and most recently fooling around a little bit with the digital modes, and I even got my DXCC in digital, which I thought was kind of neat. KC9VKV W9GT.
Roger, Jack. Well, it's been most interesting, and again, I hope that you achieve that next DX contact shortly, and get your award and be able to post it for all the hard work. I wanted to mention about our location on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that'll bring up our Qso-Vlogs. We have now about 112. Art Bell is at the top, and this one will be right under Art. And the Qso-Vlog page is a section of our larger YouTube page, which is called Jim Fergusson's Radio Story, where we celebrate 50 years of commercial broadcasting, and we have about 600 segments in that of shows that we produced along the way during our 50-year career. And we just started the Qso-Vlog section about a year ago. So, and again, we have about 115 of those. So we're moving along on that. And Jack, I really appreciate your time. Roger?
Yeah, okay, Jim. Well, it's quite interesting. I'll have to look that up. And to give you a little background, I don't think you heard the introduction, but the Little Red Barnet that we were on earlier was started by our good friend Bob Sievers, W9FJT, 50 Jumping Tigers. Bob was a very prominent radio personality here in Fort Wayne at WOWO Radio, and on there for many, many years, since the mid-30s. And he hosted the Little Red Barn program in the morning, and that's where the name of the net comes from. And Bob started that net several years ago. Bob is no longer with us. He passed some time ago, but we remember him with honor and still enjoy carrying on the tradition with the net. So that's what it's all about. And there's several radio personalities in the Fort Wayne area, or that have been in the Fort Wayne area, that are radio amateurs. And occasionally you'll hear Ron, W9RGM, Ron Gregory, who was also a personality on WOWO. So anyway, that's what it's all about. And if you can join us on a regular basis, we certainly would enjoy hearing you. Usually have a pretty good turnout. So a little bit light today because on Tuesdays they have a breakfast locally, and several of the guys get together for that. But I've had as many as I back in net control on Thursday, and I've had as many as 21 check in. And I think Ron RGM, when he was doing net control, had 28 check in at one time. So sometimes it gets pretty big. KC9VKV W9GT.
Roger, Roger, and the Fort Wayne story, I think, is really an unusual situation in broadcasting, and an unfortunate turn of events for WOWO, having been purchased by another entity on the same frequency, and they wanted the other entity to be more of a clear channel situation, so they did. I think, did they change the WOWO power or the antenna situation?
Well, they changed the power at night. Yeah, that was a rather sad event. Of course, considering the history of WOWO and the fact that it was world renowned, and the outfit in New York, I can't remember the name of the company, but anyway, they purchased it and knocked the power down to it's, I think, 1 watt less than 10,000 watts at night, where it was 50K, of course, and directional. And it was basically a clear channel station, although I think the frequency was shared by another station in Seattle. But WOWO was heard worldwide, and of course, especially the night personalities, one of which was Ron Gregory, were well known around the world.
Roger, Roger. It's just a shame they wouldn't have invested a little more money and made it directional, protect themselves, obviously, but make it directional and put that power, can you imagine, 50,000 watts in a 7-tower array or something like that, that would protect New York, but WOWO would have certainly been around the world with that.
Yeah, well, it's a 3-tower array as it is, and it got out well, to say the least. But yeah, of course, there's a station in a very large market in the New York City area, and they wanted to be dominant, and then that was the way they did it.
Roger, Roger. Well, Jack, let me jump out of here. Say threes to you down there. Appreciate your time, and I think you have a very interesting story about DXing. It's a subject that, while I've covered many subjects, I've not really covered one about DXing and all the trials and tribulations. And I know that when you're one short of an award, it can be frustrating. So I hope that you manage to take care of that little situation here shortly with Mother Nature's help and conditions and all that stuff which you have to have. You can have 1 billion watts and all kind of antennas, but if Mother Nature doesn't want to put you where you want to go, you're not going to get there. So anyway, threes that away, Jack.
Okay, Jim. Well, nice to meet you, and like I say, I'm not by any means a prominent DXer. There's guys that have been in it a lot longer than me, and guys that have achieved much more impressive accomplishments. Of course, including going on DXpeditions around the world. But I enjoy it, and I participate as I can. And like I say, that honor roll thing is something you kind of shoot for in a lifetime. It takes some doing to get there. And Jim, before you run, were you a radio personality, or were you involved in broadcast radio?
Roger, 50 years of broadcast radio. My last was with WHAS in Louisville, Clear Channel Station. I was production director from 1970 to 1979. Roger?
Yeah, okay, great, Jim. Well, I was in the telecom business, worked for GTE and then later on Verizon. And I worked a lot with broadcasters. At one time, I was in the portion of a part of engineering that provided program circuits and various services for broadcasters. So I had a chance to get around to a lot of TV and radio stations, and I knew a lot of people. I knew the hams, of course, and that worked in stations. By the way, you mentioned WHAS. I have an AM transmitter, which is not on the air, but I've got it sitting here. A big rack transmitter that was built by a camera tech at WHAS back in the, it must have been in the early 50s time frame. Very late 40s or early 50s time frame. anyway, I'm hoping to get that back on the air one of these days. And that's a whole other area of interest of mine in amateur radio is Bluetooth type gear and AM and all that kind of stuff. And I've built a lot of transmitters and operated AM. And I presently, my main AM rig right now is a 1943 vintage marine transmitter that was taken off of a ship, Federal Telephone and Radio Corporation transmitter using a pair of 813s and modulated by a pair of 811As. I put that rig on in the early 90s. In fact, I purchased it at the Wabash, Indiana Ham Fest in 1991. I've had it ever since. But that's one thing that's really fun. Actually, AM is quite popular, and you know, there's a lot of guys that enjoy the vintage gear and building vintage style and all that sort of thing. So I don't know if you've delved into that or not in your exploration of various interests in amateur radio. KC9VKV W9GT.
Roger, on the AM transmitter, I haven't, but my buddy Lou 2 N9GTO has just taken possession of a new AM transmitter, 7 foot tall, 3.5 foot wide, and about 3.5 foot deep, and it's running a pair of 4-400s driving a 4-1000, and we're just going through some specs, kind of like somewhere around 1,000 pounds of radio there. The modulation reactor, heavy as a man, or a fat man at that, and really impressive. Of course it is AM only, and I salute my buddy there for his dedication. I'm not sure that I would be that dedicated to AM myself, but I should be, I guess, having had a career in AM only broadcasting. I never worked at a FM station. They were all AM, so I should be aligned to AM, but so far I've been mostly sideband on amateur radio. Roger.
Yeah, okay, Jim. Well, all I can say is listen and try it. You'll like it. It's a really nice bunch of folks that are involved in AM, and we've enjoyed it for many years. And it kind of revived my interest, from way back in the late 50s, early 60s time frame when I was first licensed. And of course, AM was the prevalent mode on the band. But it's lots of fun. Of course, those broadcast transmitters, like you were describing, really great. It's a great way to get on, but they're massive. They're really big and hard to handle, and I just don't have the room for it. I'd love to have one, but if I had one, I'd have to remote it. I'd have to put it out in a shed out in the backyard or something, because I couldn't get anything that massive in here. I already have a row, I call it the heavy metal row, a big transmitter rack here, kind of fills what used to be a closet here in the ham shack, and that's about as big as I want to get here, or I'm able to get, I should say. But yeah, it's great to restore those old broadcast transmitters and get them on the air. If you listen here on 75, around 38, anywhere from 3875 to 3885, usually around 3880, 3885, most of the activity. There's a lot of AM activity and nets and so forth, and it's just really fun to listen to. So, hey, I'm going to get out here as well. Nice to meet you, Jim, and good luck with your pursuit there with the YouTube thing. KC9VKV W9GT.
Excellent timing, Jack. Band just came up for your close. It had been dwindling a little bit there, but it came up for the close. So there you go. 3's that away, Jack. Enjoyed the Qso. And like I said, we'll have this posted either tomorrow or the next day on the YouTube page with a call letter search of KC9VKV. So 3's that away, Jack, and we'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV. We'll be clear.